So last week the Golden Globes took place. Now, and that's an award ceremony I care very little about. That isn't until I found that the winner turned out to be the independent animated feature Flow for Best Animated Feature. And let's be honest, none of us saw that one coming. Probably the biggest surprise from the Globes that this year. Yeah. Yeah, and while I haven't seen Flow, I have heard great things about it, so I will probably try. I watch that. So why am I talking about Flow if I haven't seen it? Well, it reminds me of another animated film that won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature just 5 years ago that no one expected to win, but it ended up winning anyway. And that was Leica's 2019 stop-motion animated feature, Missing Link. What could probably be considered as one of the most underrated films of the century. This film bombed hard at the box office, becoming a huge flop, but yet it was able to find some success, especially when it became a surprise. I think enough Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes in 2020, and even got an Oscar nomination that same year for Best Animated Feature. And I've always had a soft spot for this movie. And I thought I'd give it a rewatch. I do a video on it to explain why I think it's underrated. And yeah, this is an underrated gem. This is a film that no one talks about, and yet I feel like they should. Honestly, the film reminded me of an animated Indiana Jones movie. The characters aren't after an artifact or anything, but with how the action takes place, and the different entries and locations that they go on to, it kind of felt like one to me. Not to mention the different arrows that would take place. And the humour that you would find. That leads me into my favourite part of the feature. The dialogue in this film is just fantastic. Seriously, this could be just a me thing, but this is probably some of the best dialogue I've seen from a stop motion animated feature. The jokes in this are absolutely hysterical. Cool. And the interactions with all the characters are great. Not to mention that the characters themselves are really solid on their own, for the most part. Technically, they are the weakest element of the feature for me, but I still enjoyed them nonetheless. If I had to pick a favourite, well, it would easily be Mr. Link himself. Alf, I like how it's the Sasquatch who's the most to have line helped find the Yeti, so he won't be alone anymore. And I also love how he takes the name of someone personal to him that he met a while back, and that name turned out to be Susan. so he takes that name. That is honestly hilarious. Yes. I mean, I kind of get LGBTQ vibes from him. Not big ones, but honestly, having him called Susan, just an absolutely hysterical. Cool. But what about the main character? I know Frost. Well, my problem isn't his personality. I think it's a solid one. I think it was the struggle I had. You see, in all of Leica's films before this one, the main characters have always been kids. It's every single one. And from Coraline to Cuba, from Cuba and the Two Strings, to Norman from Paranorman, to X from Box Trolls, all of them are kids. it's why it's much easier for them and to do kids. I think it would have been in a solid personality for a kid, have Lionel still be in the film, but as like the father, but the kid is like the main event entry that wants to be a great adventure that. But having him fun though, I don't know. I think it made him a bit more arrogant and selfish than what the film was trying to present. I do like the dynamic with the different characters he has. I mean, of course, the dynamic between him and Mr. Link, aka Susan, is fantastic. But I also really like the dynamic with if the other lead of the feature, Adelina. Now, if I had to pick a second favourite character in the film, it'd easily be her. The chemistry between the two of them was hands down really solid, and at least for some great 8 moments. And I also like how it ended off with Adelina going off on her own adventure. So, even though she's able to forget everything, I know, she is still wanting to experience an adventure of her own, which is a great idea. Yeah, and it's like having the spin-off feature. Should of this, it's focused it on Adelina. I'd be down to see that. As for the villains, well, I won't say they're bad. They are easily the weakest characters of the feature. I do like the head of the club that Aina wants to join. And how he's someone that hasn't evolved in modern times and refuses to. But there's barely enough personality out of him. To just making him seem like a black and villain. Then the hunter he sends out is much better. And I feel like it would have been better if he was the main overarching villain. And because he makes for a great threat to the characters. And his death scene, a falling down death is quite common for villains. But dangling on a rope and then having an icicle get right in the chest, bring you down. I'm surprised they were able to get away with the death that fight. And that leads me to some. I think I was surprised. I find on the recent rewatch, it does not hold back on the action whatsoever. And honestly, this is a double-edged sword for me. On one hand, the action scenes are easily the highlights of the feature, where they take advantage of the animation and leads for some great moments, especially that bar fight in one of the ship. Those were incredible. On the other hand, however, I feel like they went a bit too much for making the moments seem intense, especially when the film does try to mix some humour with those moments. I mean, the jokes outside, like I said, are great in this, but I don't think the action and humour balanced well when it came to the action scenes. I feel like I should have focused more on one than the other. But speaking of the animation, and out of all Striker's animated features, it's hard to tell that this is really a stop-motion animated feature. In fact, many of us, including myself, were convinced this was a pretty stylised computer animated feature. But does that mean the animation is some Fleisch's weakest works? Absolutely not. Even if it doesn't look like their traditional stop motion style, the animation is still incredible, with all the different environments that the characters would go to, and the way they're scaled. Like like the mountains. Oh my gosh. Also, the mountains have a great sky. Especially that big ice bridge. That was highly creative. And a great place for the climax to take place, especially when the characters are dangling off it. Like, yeah. Also, I really like all the different features. Of course, Mr. Link is the huge standout for being the Sasquatch, arching the main each of the feature. But some of the others, like the Yetis, and the elephant, and they took a island to get to the Himalayas. It was also very visual stand and those here. And honestly, this is a film that I see a lot of potential for a sequel. Cool, especially with it ends with Lionel Frost and it's the Link planning to go on their next adventure. Honestly, if this one was to at least get a Netflix sequel greenlit, then I'd be happy. And I really do hope to, especially since Netflix is collaborating with to release their next animated feature this year. Well, Outward, which I'm quite interested to see how like a return and after this feature. Overall, I haven't watched many films from like. In fact, the only ones I've probably watched from them is this one and Coraline I watched for the first time last year. But honestly, at the moment, between the two of them, I think I prefer Missing Link. I know it's a controversial statement, especially since Coraline is considered to be one of the best stop motion animated features of all time. But personally, I find that one to be overrated, while I find Missing Link on the other hand to be an underrated gem of animation. It's got a very solid story structure, some great action, likable characters, to incredible animation, and fantastic dialogue. If you've not yet seen this film, please do so. It is a hidden gem of animation, and will leave for quite a discovery. It's quite a shame that this became a huge box office bomb, but then again, a few weeks later, Avengers Endgame did release some to say that it was up against some huge competition would be quite an understatement. But still, that doesn't change the fact that Missing Link is a solid feature. I remember reviewing it when it first came out, and I gave it like an 8.5. I think I'm gonna stick with that rating, but it might be leaning more towards a 9. So at the moment this is an 8.5 out of 10, but don't be surprised as if I to think about it of being a 9 out of 10 feature. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!